Okay, guys. So today I showed you, or yesterday, I guess I could say, I showed you how to draw out your letters, how to center it up. If you have an even amount of letters, you will have a space smack dab in the middle. If you have an odd amount of letters, your very middle letter is going to go over that middle line. So what I've done here is I've kind of made my letters a little smaller. I wanted a little bit more space to pull through my images, and now I'm going to start blocking them out. And I just grabbed a packet, and so I'm going to use this packet that I have underneath here to kind of start manipulating my letters and getting 3D dimension. So in this too, you always want to start from the center and then work your way outwards. So then all your letters still stay center no matter how you work on it. So I'm going to start with the O because it's a little easier just to start off with, get myself in the groove. And then I'm going to move to the W, then I'll go to the R, then the T, then the G, then the H, and then it'll all be done. Okay. So I'm going to look at my packet and I'm just going to go ahead and manipulate my line letter just to start with here. So I'm going to just kind of copy from observation, just like we did on our worksheet, like we practiced. So you've got a lot of practice under your belt here. And that goes way down there like that. Okay. And so that's how I just manipulated straight out. So I started with just a regular O, then I manipulated out at the line stage. Now I'm gonna go and block it out. So now I'm gonna just go ahead and make parallel lines around what I've already made. And in my example, these actually kind of curve a little bit. So I'm gonna round all those edges out, and I can keep it sketchy for right now. Okay, and then the inner shape is kind of triangular-ish, kind of like that. And I'm going to go ahead and take out that inner O, that inner O. And there we go. So I've got already, I have a manipulated blocked out letter. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to W, and wow, mine's really manipulated here. So it's going to look something like this here, and it almost has kind of like an arrow. And just work my way around. Okay, so that's then where I manipulated out in, oop, I gotta keep that there. Now I'm gonna start doing my block lettering. Okay, here's where I can start getting some overlapping and underlapping. I'm gonna go ahead and let the O overlap. I'm gonna go kind of around this arrowy point here. Back, yeah, thanks. Where you found it. Okay, that line goes there. Okay, so now I'm just kind of looking off of my example that I've got going on, and I'm just trying to copy it the best that I can. If you don't want to copy a font and you want to make your own, that's fine. Got a little bit of a space that pulls through right here. Okay, and then this side I've got a little wonky on, so I just kind of made adjustments. So this doesn't look exactly like what's on the worksheet, but it's pretty darn close. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out here. And then before I move on, I want to go ahead and I want to set myself 3D. Where do I want to see the 3D? And I think I would like to see my 3 dimension coming from the left-hand side and from the top. So I'm going to work on the O to start with. So if I'm going from the top side, I'll be able to see it coming from here. And now I'm kind of going into the R, and that's going to be okay. Need to fix that angle a little bit. Needs to match this guy. Kind of like that. And I might even need to move it down. So you guys can see how much erasing and adjusting I'm doing. That's no problem. You can do that also. Okay? And then this next one, I'm going to end it like that. And then if I'm seeing this side, so I'm going to have a little space right here. And then I've got that and that. Okay, now my O is 3-dimensional. Now I want to work on the W, and I'm going to need to do it the same way. So I've got some 3-dimension pulling from here. This one here is going to be 3-dimensional. This one it's getting tricky. Okay, so I've got one. It's coming down that way, and then I mimic this line to that right there. Okay, we got a tricky one here again. So I'm going to work from here over. Right here, make that 3D. You want to stay inside the box on this one because that's your paper. Then that one like that. Okay, and then this space here is going to be something like that. You can't really see it because it hides behind the O. And then little 3-dimension right there. Okay, so there we go. So I've blocked them out, I manipulated them, and now they're 3-dimensional. Okay, notice how much room they're starting to take up. Okay, so that might kind of change some things you've got going on. So to help with my spacing, I'm going to let my T overlap my W. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move on there. So I'm going to kind of reposition it a little bit. So I'm going to just redraw it out. And I'm going to pull it in just a little bit closer. All right, so now I'm going to start blocking it. This one's really similar, if not the same, as the font that was used on our worksheet. So I've already had some good practice with it. So I'm gonna let that kind of get narrow. I want these to kind of go a little wider. And then I'm gonna angle up. Now again, I want to stay within my box because that's the edge of my paper. All right, so now I'm going to erase out. Starting to get some overlapping. And I'm going to go ahead and start to 3D. Oops. Start over on that one. Let's see. So I'm going to go from the right-hand side, and I'm going to see from the top. So I'm going to see these. And that's probably going to match that right there. This one will go straight across. And these go out this way. That one's wonky. Need to fix that. Okay, and then I'm just going to see this side. So I'll just kind of let that overlap a little bit. I'm also going to see this top edge, and that one's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Let's see, am I going to see that top edge? It's kind of tricky. So if I take a look at that, that's not adding up right. So technically I had this line here, and it is a pretty steep curve, or diagonal, which means so would that. So there, I'm gonna like barely see that one. It's almost kind of like hanging off. And then kind of same thing over here. It's gonna be barely there. Okay, so notice I worked on my O, I blocked it, I got it 3-dimensional, worked on my W, blocked it, got 3-dimensional, then I moved to my T, blocked it, got it 3-dimensional. I've erased out my originals on there. Okay, and maybe I just want to end that one. So sometimes you can take a little creative liberty. If it looks wonky, make adjustments. I'm not too sure about it. I'm just going to leave this for right now and I can always come back. Okay, now I'm going to move over to the R. I'm starting to run out of room. Okay, and so I've got my O, my W, and my T all within an area, but then now I need to get the R in there, and I think space-wise to help, I need it to overlap the O. So I'm gonna kind of redo my line drawing and see how that is. So it goes at an angle like this. It kind of comes up into a point like that. Very similar. Very, very similar to our worksheet. Okay, so there I've redone my R and it's gonna have to come over my O, which is fine. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start blocking. And just gonna work through. I'm gonna start taking some things out in the middle so it's just a little easier for me to see what I've got going on. Okay, and actually instead of that being a curve up there, it's more something like that. So let me change up the angle here. I'm going to go on top of over the O. That comes in there like that. And then I'm going to just go ahead and erase this part of the O because I'm going to be overlapping it anyway. Okay, so just kind of going through and manipulating some stuff out here. And that goes way over there. That comes in. Got a bit of a triangle. And then this leg ends up overlapping itself. Bam, like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna erase all that out. Just like that. All right, guys, I've got a quick meeting, and so I'm gonna cancel, well, stop for right here, and then I'll get the rest of it posted up for you tomorrow. Thanks.